I've been travelling around America on the West Coast, and usually I travel by myself or with friends, but this time I decided to do something different, and I've gone with the tour group Contiki. It's quite a popular tour, and it's for 18 to 35-year-olds. So this is Natalie, and she's the tour manager for the group that I've been on.
Yes.
I've been with. But just talking to Natalie and like everything she does and why she got into travelling and all the interesting people and things you meet, it rang a lot of bells with the sorts of things that I like to talk about and things that have happened in my life as well. So I thought it'd be quite interesting to interview Natalie.
Thank you.
Hi,
Excited. Hello. Happy to be here. I'm from Arizona, so Phoenix, Scottsdale area.
Mm-hmm.
Capital Phoenix of Arizona. You went?
Yeah,
For one night.
Nice.
Yes, very hot.
Yeah, very
But
hot.
yes, Arizona, the Southwest.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing running the groups
Trips?
for Contiki? Yeah.
A year and a half.
Okay, and why did you get into it?
Oh boy. Well, I originally heard about Contiki when I studied abroad in Australia, and you would go into travel agents there. They'd have the brochures. I saw it, but I didn't really know what it was, and I didn't choose to travel through them. And then fast forward like 2 years, my friends went on one in Europe, and I actually met up with them when I was traveling by myself, and I saw them with their group, and they were having so much fun, and I realized like it was a lot cooler than I thought. And they kind of just told me about their experience, their trip manager. I remembered it. It was right after I graduated college, and I graduated college without a job. In America, it's usually people, when you're in your like last semester of college, it's like, okay, what's your next move? And I didn't have one. I was like, I don't know yet.
What were you studying?
Marketing and entrepreneurship. So I was in the business college too, which was a lot of pressure of like internship, job.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. Nothing felt right, and I could not commit. And so I took time after I traveled a little bit with my best friend in Europe, saw the Contiki group, and then kind of like floated around, got a marketing job in Arizona. And I'd always planned on leaving. I always had that drive to leave, which is funny because now I appreciate Arizona more that I've left. But yeah, and I got a marketing desk job, and I just did not like it. I didn't like the company. It was just like I learned everything I needed to learn for that job in like a week. And so I felt like I was just kind of wasting my time. Yeah, I was like exchanging time for money and not doing anything real. Like I didn't feel like I was making any sort of impact, and it just bothered me day in and day out. And yeah, I went into like a weirder mental space. I was like, I got to do something to get out of this. And then I don't know, fate kind of took its course because we were at the gym, and my dad was like, "You're like this guy." He's just like an older dude that my dad hangs out with at the gym, and he was like, he used to be a tour guide in South America. He's like 60, and so my dad's like, you should talk to him just because he knows I like to travel. So I just started chatting with him, and he was like talking about his travels, his experience as a tour guide, the industry. And it was seriously that day. I remember it was like the Friday after Thanksgiving or something, and I went home, and I was like, okay, I was super inspired. I was like, I gotta live my life. I gotta do something. I went home. I remembered Contiki because it had like only been like 6 months since my friends had been on one. And I looked at the company, and I was even thinking of doing Europe. I didn't know anything about where they did tours exactly. And I just literally typed it in, went to like careers or something. And like the main thing on it was like US trip managers needed.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was so weird. And I was like, oh. And then I clicked on it, and I read the description. And it was like the first time I've read something that I was like drawn to. And I was like, oh, that's actually me. Like what I believe in, what I want to do. And so I remember meeting with my friends that night, because they were all home for Thanksgiving. That's why I remember it was Thanksgiving, and being like, you guys, I think I'm going to do this. And just being super, like, I had this weird feeling inside. I was like, not only am I going to try, I was like, I'm going to, like, this is going to be my future.
Yeah.
Like, I felt it. It was crazy.
When you said it's something you felt like you were drawn to, I can relate to that. I think I know the feeling when you hit the right thing. It's like a physical thing, isn't it? Like everything in you just feels like this is the right thing. So did you have any sort of desire to do that sort of thing before, or was it just more like circumstances led you there and you just knew when it happened?
Traveling has always given me that feeling, like ever since I was younger, looking at pictures of just foreign places, different cultures, I just was very like, I wanted to go. I had this hunger for it. I was bit by the travel bug even before I probably traveled. And so I think that was an automatic thing that I was familiar with. And then just finding a job that kind of coincided with that. And just like the opportunity to work with people and be able to impact people in a positive way.
Is this something you see yourself doing like long term, or how do you? Because it's quite doing the tour. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Like we were all just talking before. It's you feel like you need a holiday to get over this holiday. It
Right.
is constantly on the go, and you are constantly on the go.
Right.
Do you ever worry that you're going to burn out, or
Of course.
when do you do you have in your mind like a cut off point of I can do it for this long and then I'm going to do something else? How do you deal with that?
I try not to have that, honestly, because I think when you do that, you're looking too far forward. I try and honestly take it trip by trip, which is hard. Like, you'll start to think about your schedule, because right now I'm in the beginning of a longer stint of work. And if I worry too much about being tired next week, though, like, I'm not enjoying this week. And I've learned a lot about myself through it. I've learned, like, how I get my energy, when I need to take breaks for myself. You know, it's a job that's very selfless because you're putting others first. But I've also realized there's a lot of times that I need to take care of myself in order to take care of other people. And so I will take the night off and be like, I don't need to go hang out or be social. I can do a face mask and do work in silence, or like call a friend or take a break and just relax. But it definitely does get tiring. But I've also realized that every job gets tiring. You know, there is a reason I'm getting paid. And so I think that helps, because I will like reflect and be like, you be grateful for the struggle that you're having right now. And it's definitely a job with a lot of high highs, but also low lows. But I think I decided a while ago that I'd rather live a life that had more of those dramatic feelings than kind of just like nothing. And so, sometimes I could like cry of happiness because I'm looking at this view with these people and just like feel this gratefulness. Or sometimes I'm super stressed out and away from home and by myself. And but I don't know. I think it's making me a better person, and every person I meet is like teaching me something. So
you're doing something you're passionate about. It's that old cliche of it's not work,
right? If
you're enjoying it, if you live in the moment, you're not thinking too far ahead. That's pretty like good advice for life in general, isn't it?
I would say so. I mean, you of all people would realize too how much being grateful for the moment you have is, because you don't know your next one. And so I think a lot of times people live in the past or in the future, and it's super easy to get there mentally. Like, some people don't think about what they're thinking about, if that makes sense. They just allow their thoughts to control their life. And I've kind of, from a younger age, realized that like my life is more powerful when I take control over what I'm thinking about and if I'm being present, or what I'm, focusing on. Even just active listening. It's so simple, but something that I've tried to work on, where I'm like, am I listening to who I'm talking to? Or am I thinking about something else, or what I have to do in 10 minutes? Like,
being present.
Right. And I think I make deeper connections that way, which makes a bigger impact on my travelers. And I experience things better. And I think it just makes you more well-rounded.
Everything you've just said is something that I think I see it a lot, probably because of the things that I've gone through, sort of forced me to be like that. But I think a lot of people get there eventually. You're still really young. I feel really old compared to Natalie. You're still really young, so that's a massive realisation to have. Was there like a defining moment that made you realise that? Or
I think there's a couple. I mean, this is hard to get into over the interview, but I was involved in a program when I was in high school. It was called Workshop for Youth and Families, and it was like week-long camps, but they were like leadership and like emotional intelligence type of exercises for like teens, which was very rare. And it was like kind of talking about your emotions and your thoughts and like character building exercises. And I became like a peer leader for it. So sort of like a trip manager, but for that, which is funny. And so I was very surrounded by experts in this field of like emotional intelligence and self-reflection.
How old were you?
So I was 15 to 18 is when I did it, which was, I think, really changed my entire life of how I look at people. And I'm really grateful for that experience. I didn't even realize how much I was doing then, because I was just taking the time out we would just do exercises like writing down a list of your friends and then like a list of characteristics and like what you value, what friends bring that to your life, toxic people. Yeah, just like all these type of things to make you think about who you're putting in your life, what you're doing for people, what person you want to be. Yeah, it was awesome.
How amazing would that be?
Oh, it's
that was like
best.
Every school age.
That was like my dream. I studied entrepreneurship because it was one of my almost like, I was like, I would love to have like that program be in more places because it's still alive and going, but it's a very niche program started by like, she's like my hero. She's Dr. Franny, and she was a family therapist who just started this like youth program, and it grew and grew, and it wasn't huge. Like the camps, each camp would be like 80 to 100 participants, and only like 4 a summer. But like those who it affected, like it impacted a lot, and it was really like,
yeah, and it has a knock-on effect. If you're taking like that approach, and at that age, then everyone you come into contact with, you'll be passing little bits on to them too. So. Right. Like now you've told me that, I can see like another aspect to when you do your job. I can see like why you are so good at it and like different little bits coming through. But that's amazing. Like that would be a dream if they could put that.
Yeah, well, it teaches you a lot of empathy, which I think is incredibly important in life, and compassion for people that you are like different than. Yeah. Because it would force you to be in these groups of people and talk about things, more vulnerable subjects, and realize like, we're all humans at the end of the day who have these different experiences who make us who we are. And so I think when I meet someone, I try and almost see them for that instead of like judge them, like trying to really feel who they are as a person or understand them emotionally. Or so I think that helps with the job too, and just in life. And so that helped a lot with like my younger development. And then honestly, I would say my first 2 years of college were like not great for me. And so I remember like I would always be attracted to, it's weird to say like self-help books, but I'd always like read like I remember I read The Happiness Project or like The Power of Now, or just books that were, you know, inspiring. And I was like 19, 20 and reading about, and I took a philosophy of happiness class in college, and it was one of my favorites actually, like just life lessons wise, something I took like little things from of just kind of learning about happiness and, you know, yourself and what important tools were, and kind of taking that and moving forward with it.
Were you surrounded by people very similar to that, or did you find that you say that your vibe attracts your tribe?
Right.
Was that something that you had to purposely go out and, I don't know, were you influenced by people outside to be like that, people that you were surrounded by, or would you feel like a bit of a standalone going that way? And then,
you know, I have a larger group of like friends and family, so I think in that way I have a good tribe, but I wouldn't say that. I think through the program I had good mentors in that sense that were older than me. I mean, my parents are fantastic, but they weren't like into all this necessarily. Maybe they were without realizing it, but they didn't like give me the books or anything. I don't know where I really got it from, to be honest, like to start studying it. I've made connections now with people, kind of like with you, like where once you almost speak that language with someone, it's you just understand that they understand something greater, if that makes, I think you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and so
I sort of had this realization yesterday. Actually, I was on the coach and I put it in my phone. I wrote it down as it was happening to me, because I realized that I am very much into like not really self-help, but like motivational, and like outside influence. I go looking for it, so listen to podcasts. I go to talks. I try to do as much as I can. But I realized when I'm being on this trip that I maybe have taken it for granted, or just not fully realised that the people that are in my life on a daily basis, so my closest friends, people I choose to be in my life, actually are very supportive of what I do, and we have similar things. So I'm constantly, without even realising it, like getting supportive messages and like people like pushing me along. And it's only when I was like forced to spend time in the group with a different group of people who don't think that way. There's a bit of a realisation that I actually maybe take it for granted that I have got myself to a point where I'm surrounded by people who are good for me. Yeah, but it's like
and think in a similar
yeah.
way. No, I get that. I mean, especially because I meet so many people that I'll understand. I can tell immediately because that's judgmental, but you can sort of know quickly who. Yeah, it's just I don't say on the same.
Or like,
right, I don't even know the words. It's not level as in like better or worse. It's just like how much they have maybe experienced in their own lives or something, and this could be people's first experience ever that's somewhat challenging personally or different from what they're used to, and so they don't have just as much, I don't know, to like they haven't been through enough to really relate to someone who has. I think that's where like I don't know, where when bad things happen to people, I think it makes you more empathetic and you have deeper connections with people, honestly, because I think when two people have been through a hard time or an experience, they can connect on that. Or if someone, and they should be grateful for living like a happy, easy-go-lucky life, breezy, but they can't necessarily understand heartbreak or pain or, and that is a disconnect. So I know what you're saying, and I have experienced that where I want to almost like preach to people sometimes, and I feel myself saying things. I'm like, they didn't sign up for Contiki to get like a motivational speaker because I all want to say things like to them, but I'm like, just let people be how they are too. Like people grow at their own pace, and sometimes experiences need to just happen to them. Like
it has to be something natural, doesn't it? It has to be like naturally evolved rather than forced.
Right. Like And so, no, I know what you mean, though. And just people's different reactions and stuff. It's like, when you've experienced big deals, you're like, what is a big deal?
You can see that in someone else, can't you? Even if they've not told you, you can see that.
I think in some ways, that's why I've seemed a little bit more mature in ways, is because I maybe had different life experiences earlier on that have...
With the groups that you normally get, is there a typical Contiki traveller that you would normally get? Is there a... Or is it very diverse?
I think it's very diverse. Like, I think everyone obviously comes in wanting to have a good time and see different things, but you just see a range of what people expect or want. Some people, you get people who are sheltered and want to be by themselves. You get loud personalities. So when it comes to personalities, you get the whole range. I would say, it can your basic Contiki would just be like a normal personality level, wanting to meet new people, experience new things.
Like, do you have a moment or a thing or is there a memorable, a standout moment from your time as a Contiki tour manager?
Yeah, there's a couple. I had a guy named Jaden who was colorblind, and it was on a southern, so you go from Vegas to the Grand Canyon, and in Vegas they sell, or he could buy cheaper than back in New Zealand. Or is he Australia? He's Australia. Glasses that showed color and enhanced color. And the first time he ever wore them was when we did the sunset at the Grand Canyon. And so to see him appreciate it so much and be like, this is what you guys are seeing, and he's just such a nice, simple guy who was just so excited about it. And I think that's an amazing moment for me to remember, of someone else's experience. That's just really cool. So that was just I remember that really well. I had an engagement at the Grand Canyon too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I helped plan that.
Aww.
So I did a little sunset. I was taking photos of people, and I was like, oh wait, you two go take a photo. And then he proposed. That was really cool.
I feel emotional.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. No, I've just had really good conversations with people that I'll kind of remember, or sometimes after, when I get the notes and I read them, I have more of those moments where I'm like, oh, because you don't realize sometimes when you're doing it, the impact you're making, because people won't always tell you.
Review.
Yeah, you get reviewed, and then I have people have a chance to get a note card and write me something, because for me, like I've kind of said to you guys and to you, the big reason why I do it is not really for my own travel anymore. I've been to these places, it's more for the people and for other people to experience the things and to make somewhat of an impact. And so when I get to have those letters or read them, it's really what fulfills me and kind of gives me that energy. I will literally, if I'm feeling tired before a tour, read through the note cards from the last tour that say you're the best, or I had the best time, or anything like that, because it makes me realize how important it is to be the best I can for them, so that they can have the same experience my new travelers. So I think those really help me appreciate it too. And anytime you see the Grand Canyon, or
do you ever get oh, I've seen it, I've done it?
I'll get that about like food or something. Like I've eaten that. Like I don't need to eat it again or like spend money on doing that. But I try and mix what I do each tour. Like I'm not going to go to a Circus LA show over and over again, but I'll randomly go and be like, that was fun. That was good. I don't think nature I ever get sick of just because it makes me really happy. And so to have that space to go to Yosemite or the Grand Canyon will always be sacred to me. In cities, I might not be as excited as I was the first time, but I don't know. I'd say I try and find new things in each place as often as I can for the energy level I have that time. Like, you know, in New Orleans, I have a freer day, and some days I need to use it just to like relax, or some days I go try something new or eat somewhere else, or, you know, go explore new areas.
How do you have little like go-to things to help you cope with the craziness of a trip?
Working out helps me a lot. I try and use that as a stress reliever because it's good for stress and like good for me physically, obviously. And just walking around, like listening to music, is really good for me just to get out of my own head, sort of, or like look around and try and see things, small things every day too, that just make me feel better. Like, do you know what coconut pulling is? I do that. And like that's not even like that relaxing, but it's something that almost makes me feel like I'm doing self-care. So I'm like, okay, like I'll do that, or like a face mask, or just take care of myself.
So like, explain what, for people who don't know what it is,
coconut
pulling is.
I do it like every morning. So you put coconut oil in your mouth and you swish it around. I do 20 minutes every morning, and you don't have to aggressively swish it, just kind of like around, and it's supposed to like get the toxin out of your mouth, and you don't spit in the sink. You spit it in a trash can. And I think when I first got into it, I read all the benefits, and now I don't even know what they are anymore. But I just feel better. But for sure, it's good for your mouth and your mouth bacteria. And then like coconut oil is getting absorbed through your gums without having to swallow it, and so you're like receiving a lot of the benefits of coconut. With like, I feel like it's like cholesterol and something else. And now when I wake up, I can just taste how gross my mouth is until I do it. And I feel like it's on my skin and like my body, but I don't actually know. I think honestly having real conversations with people reboots me a lot. Like when I get to finally, because a lot of the job is I'm myself, but I have to be a professional version of it and do my job. And so when I kind of get to get on a more personal level with someone, it'll reboot me too of like, oh, I just had an effect on someone's life and they had one on mine. Like on a deeper level, that actually helps me out a lot.
Do you find it quite difficult, like, or important to set the tone or like the boundaries right at the start of the trip? It's the first few days of going, I'm in charge, because everyone has like in that party atmosphere and they've got that I'm here to party and they're really happy and loud. And I think I saw it that you have to put your foot down just so people recognise that they can't push you over. And I think it's important and it's a good thing. I think you did it really well, but is that a conscious thing that you do?
Completely. Because when I first started the shop, I was so worried about people liking me that I didn't do that enough, and then I lost control. And it's just hard to get respect when after you've not
you're
gone
similar
there.
age to people who were doing the tour as well, so it's that.
So you don't want them to take advantage of that or think that like, oh, she's so cool, she won't care, because it's like, I don't care if you make a legal poor decision in your life that's not going to affect the trip, but like I'm going to care if you're doing something that's putting anyone at risk or danger or late, or just small things that affect my life and everyone else's. And so it's definitely important the first couple of days just to establish a boundary and like I'm not better than anyone, but just like a respect level of like, because it can be frustrating. People are late the first day and you don't leave them, then they'll think every day it's okay. And
have you ever left anyone?
Yeah. Not many. Like once or twice actually, but I try and be strict on it, or at least like make sure it's like not happening. In reality, a couple of minutes don't make a difference, so you don't want to actually be upset. Like I don't even want to be upset, not for their case, but for my own. It's like I don't want to be getting stressed out about time all the time, when in reality, if we're 4 minutes late, it's not that big a difference. So you're like, your patience goes down because your stress levels go up, and so it's kind of balancing.
It's like a huge life thing as well, isn't it? Like you can't control everything.
Right.
Things happen outside of your control.
Right.
all you can control is your reaction to them. Because I think I get what you're saying in that you can react a certain way and the situation will happen anyway,
right.
and it will pass and people will forget about it. But if you've sort of reacted badly to it, you hold on to that feeling,
right.
and it affects you and it'll have like a domino effect in other areas of your day or things that you're doing
right.
from then on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to, like,
no, I completely agree.
Do,
it's like circumstances don't define actually what you're experiencing.
Perfect.
Yeah. No, I say that on my first day talk. I say, like, you know, it's your perspective of what's happening. Like,
yeah.
You know, I've had days on the coach, like today's a long drive day from Las Vegas to here, correct? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, you just did it, everyone's hungover. Last time I was here, there was the forest fire was near here. We had a 2-hour detour.
Oh gosh.
Imagine today with 2 more hours.
That was like a 9-hour trip?
Yeah, we didn't get here till 7 and dinner was at 7:30. Like, but luckily with the group and with my attitude and stuff, like, there's nothing you can do about it. And so it's like you have to make the coach like a positive atmosphere, or else we all hate our lives. And it's like, what are we gonna do? Like, let's just show another movie or let's play a game. Like, there's nothing anyone can do. And so, yeah, it's kind of just realizing that.
I feel like this job is a job that will teach you a lot about yourself in a very short space of time.
Yeah.
Because you're constantly interacting with people and like having things thrown at you. And,
yeah, no, I think so too. In that way, it's so challenging. And like, I need to, when I'm having hard times, I try and appreciate that. I'm like, okay, you are growing as a person.
Yeah.
Like, saying that mantra to myself, sort of.
So, final question.
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel like you've actually found the thing that you're most passionate about in your life? Do you feel like you're following your heart with your job?
I think for the moment I'm in right now, yes. I wouldn't say my entire life. I think there'll be something else. Or I think I've learned, like, the human aspect, how important that is to me, or being active, or like being challenged and everything. But and I do love to travel. So I'm not sure. That is an interesting question. For now, yes. But I'm optimistic about the next passion or challenge. I don't know if they'll be related or what, but I think as you grow older, those like change and priorities change, and it could be like raising a family. Like, that could be my next like thing I'm passionate about and love to do, is be a mom, or go back to school for something else. Like, I've had other interests and other things that, like, and you know, I can explore those options too once this is fully fulfilled in my life.
Final question. Yeah. So a lot of people will say travel does something for them, it grows them, it's like an important part of their life. I think particularly with the age group of maybe like teens to in people in their 20s. What do you think it is about travel that does that for people? Because you see that every day. What is it about travel that gives you something that other experiences in life don't?
I think it allows you to almost realize not how small you are, but how much more is going on in the world. When you meet more people, you see different cultures, you see how different people live, you kind of realize, like, your way of life isn't the only way of life, and that, like, there's other opportunities out there, there's other lives happening in alternate universes almost. Like, it gives you perspective sort of on your own life, and that, like, you're not set in one way, you don't have one path. Like, you can move to Bali and sell fruit, or, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can do anything you really want to. Like, you have, like, the world is here. You can do it. You just have to go do it. Because it's really easy to get comfortable and live in a bubble, which is okay for some people. Like, that's fine. I don't want to down talk anyone who decides to do that. But I think once you get out and you learn that you can do that, you gain confidence from doing it. I think you gain confidence from meeting more people and from seeing different things. You become a storyteller too. You have experiences to talk about instead of like, I did this today that you always do, going to the bank, grocery store, whatever. Like, you met this person who taught you this, and you tried this food, and even if you hated it, it's a story. Yeah. You're stuck in a rainstorm in a random city, it's a story like you tell later.
I think it's amazing that you get to see people experience that every day.
Yeah. No, I live vicariously through them all the time. Yeah. And it's awesome. Like, it makes it worth any stresses that I have.
So if you'd like to follow Natalie's travel experiences and stay in touch with what she's doing, I'll put the links below. Have a little look, and thank you for watching.
Bye.